Sanctuary cities are magnets for illegal immigrants, including some dangerous people with criminal records. There are more than 140 jurisdictions and 6 states actively obstructing enforcement of federal immigration laws with sanctuary policies. This practice puts Americans at risk, and I believe the federal government should do all it can to discourage it. We are working with the
GOP Congresswoman Martha Roby just a few minutes ago at that House news conference with Republican leaders. They're looking to vote on 2 immigration enforcement bills scheduled, they hope, for this week. One of them is a bill named for Sarah Root and Grant Ronnebeck, who were killed by an illegal immigrant who was reportedly driving drunk. Another named in memory of this woman, Kate Steinle, who was shot and killed by an illegal immigrant who'd been deported numerous times. House Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte joins us now live. He is fighting to get these bills to the House floor for a vote. Chairman, good to see you this morning.
Good to be with you, Shannon.
Listen, when people hear about Kate Steinle, they hear about Kate's Law. They've been hearing about it for so long. A lot of people assumed it had already been passed. What's the holdup?
Well, the holdup has been getting a president of the United States who would sign this bill into law. We passed it in the last Congress, and it didn't go anywhere. Now we're going to pass it through the House this week, and we're hoping that this Senate will take it up because it has such enormous public support. They can't understand why a city or other jurisdiction would choose not to cooperate with ICE to get criminal aliens off their streets, so things like the horrible murder of Kate Steinle don't happen to other people. And it happened to a lot of people, by the way, already.
You mentioned the fact that this has been floating around out there, and the president's tried to take some executive action with regard to sanctuary cities. The minute he did, a number of cities and towns got together and sued. And they said they'll keep suing. What is, as you mentioned, what is the argument against cooperating with federal immigration authorities when people's lives are sometimes at stake?
Well, unfortunately, I think it's largely political. I think these communities are catering to what they think is a politically popular thing in certain communities. But I'll tell you, I don't even believe that's the case. I believe the overwhelming majority of people of any ethnicity support the government being able to get cooperation to enforce the law, because after all, it's in these communities that people will be kept the most safe if those who commit crimes are sent out of the United States or put in jail, which is exactly what the No Sanctuary Cities bill does. It also addresses those lawsuits by giving clearer definitions of under what circumstances detainers can be issued and what the definitions are that are the subject of those lawsuits, and all gives private citizens for the first time a cause of action against those cities if they are harmed or killed by an illegal alien who is loose on the streets of that city because the city failed to cooperate with ICE.
Okay, those are some very hefty policy lifts. Do you have any bipartisan support? Are there Democrats on board with you on this?
I'm sure we will, but I don't know until we have the vote on Friday. We took this bill out of a larger bill, the Davis-Oliver Act, which we're also going to take up in this Congress, and that legislation provides a lot more tools that have been requested by Secretary Kelly and the Department of Homeland Security so that they can make sure that the effort to ramp up enforcement of our immigration laws continues, and they're finding other legal challenges that they need legislation on. So we're going to push that legislation forward. We've already reported it out of the Judiciary Committee. But this week, these 2 bills, and by the way, Kate's Law enhances the sentences that a judge can impose upon an illegal alien for re-entering the country, which is what exactly happened 5 times to the person who killed Kate Steinle.
And quickly, you seem to mention some hesitance about whether it gets through the Senate. Does it, if you pass it?
I think that the public demand for this will be very strong, and I'm hopeful that that, coupled with this president, for the first time in a long, long time, this president wants these bills passed. He needs these tools to keep Americans safe.
Okay. Chairman Bob Goodlatte, always good to see you. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thanks, Shannon.